Hey everyone, today I want to do a tier list ranking of all of the Ghost albums. Now, you'll see here that there's also these four EPs. I'm not going to include them because I don't know them as well. Plus, it's kind of hard to rank an EP when there's less songs compared to a full album. So I'm just going to focus on those main six. And now, with the release of Skeleton that came out about 2 weeks ago, I wanted to give it some time and really listen to every song a fair amount and feel like I have a good feeling on it before I did this. So, um, as you can see here, I'm just going to rank them from 6 to 1. Obviously, 6 being my least favorite, 1 being my favorite. And so, a little bit before I get into the band, I'll tell you about, I got into them around the time of their third album, Meliora. I'd say right after that came out, I had heard some of their stuff, but then I got into them more closer to the release of their fourth album, Prequel. And then when that came out, I really started following them, and I've seen them during that tour, the Imperator, and then I'll be seeing them again with this Skeleton tour. So I'll be looking forward to that one. So yeah, that's kind of my background with this band, and then the band itself. If you're unfamiliar with them, they have like a 60s and 70s sound early on. Kind of like a good way to describe them is Scooby Doom music, like Scooby Doom mixed with like kind of like metal rock music. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's a very unique sound that a lot of people really like, and I'm a fan of. And then they've evolved into kind of more of like a late 70s, 80s sound, and so you'll see as this goes on which ones I'm more of a preference of. So, starting off at my least favorite album would be their first album, Opus Eponymous. I do think there's on all these albums there's at least a few songs I like, but this one I tend to not listen to almost at all. It has the least amount of songs with nine, and I would say Conclave, Con Dio, and Ritual are the ones I find myself listening to the most. And then there's a few here and there that if it comes up on my phone, I may listen to it. But I tend to, if I put the band on, I want to listen to my favorites. So um, yeah, I'm not as big of a fan of this album, but I still don't mind it. If they kind of kept with this kind of style, I don't know if I'd be as big of a fan or even gone to have seen them as many times as I have. But next at number five is actually their second album. I might butcher this name, in Infestissimum. It's such a weird word to say out loud. I can read it, and that's what it sounds like it's reading, but maybe there's a different pronunciation, and I think it's Latin. But this one has a couple more songs that I really like. Secular Haze, Gigolo Har Megiddo, I think is how you pronounce that. Year Zero probably being my favorite, and then Monsters Clock is another really good one. Uh, I think Year Zero and Monsters Clock are some of their best songs live, and I do like them whenever I've gone to see, and that those songs have come on. I've become more of a fan of those songs since then. So yeah, their first two albums I just think are a little too satanic for me, but I do really like a few of them. They do have a few songs here and there that do stand out to me to be like, oh, I do enjoy those. Next at number four would be their fifth album, Impera. I was a little bit disappointed when this one came out. There are some really good ones on here, but I find myself not loving any song. Like, there's a lot of good, and I wouldn't say maybe more than, for me, two or three great. Um, I think like Cassarion and Spillways are good, but I wouldn't put them as my favorite. Call Me Little Sunshine, Hunter's Moon, I'd say are probably my favorites off of this. Watcher in the Sky is decent. Um, Dominion and 20s, I think Dominion's an instrumental. Um, and then 20s, I have it on, like I'll every once in a while put it on, but I'm not huge into that one. I don't really like Darkness at the Heart of My Love. Driftwood might be my favorite off of this, and then the other two, Bite of Passage and Respite of the Spital Fields, I'm not really too they're okay. So yeah, that one I don't know. I just it's okay. I do like those songs, and those few that I do like, I listen to a fair amount, but not as much as these next ones. So these next three albums are definitely my favorites and have like my favorite songs overall from the band off of them. So coming in at number three is their third album, Meliora. This, like I said, was kind of the one that introduced me to the band. I pretty much like it from start to finish for the most part. There might be a song, like an instrumental in there that I'm not a huge fan of, but I just don't really. I'm more into the vocals, and yeah, I do like instruments, like obviously hearing the instruments, but instrumentals aren't really my thing. I kind of like to get into the lyrics and the meaning of the song. So, but yeah, like Spirit's really good. Cerise, or maybe I've heard it pronounced Circe, so I'm not sure which one's right. He is Mummy Dust, Majesty, Absolution, and then Deus in Absentia. I like all those songs, and then the other ones I'm pretty sure are all instrumentals. Spokeskonaut, and Devil Church, I believe, are instrumentals. So but I do really like those other ones, and those are some of my favorites. Um, but these next two albums have like the top tier songs for me, and this was really hard. I really didn't know how to rank these two because I had to look at it overall as the album. Which one would I, if I could only choose one? And it's tough because their fourth album, Prequel, has possibly my favorite song with Rats. Squarehammer, Rats, and then one of their newest songs are like my favorite songs by them. Um, Lacrima would probably be, it would be Rats, Squarehammer, and Lacrima would be like my top three songs by them. I absolutely love those songs, and this album was tough for me to put at two because I just really like, since it's come out, this is what really made me a huge fan. Everything on it is pretty good. That's an actual like song that isn't an instrumental. But there's not as many because of that. So like Rats, Faith, Dance Macabre, Witch Image, and Life Eternal, I listen to a lot. But then there's some of the instrumentals. See the Light, I'm not sure. I haven't listened to it in a while. I want to say that that one might be actually like vocals too, but I'm not 100%. Miasma and Helven Fonster, I believe, or I think that's how you pronounce it. Helvetus Fonster, I believe, are instrumentals, and then Ashes, which is the opening of the song of the album. So that's three at least that are instrumentals, and that's why I had to put it at two. So for me, their newest album, Skeleton, has to be number one, and I was so like looking forward to this album, and I was hoping I wasn't going to be disappointed, and I wasn't just like happy with this album. This is, I think, their first album for me that from start to finish with no instrumentals. I can sit and listen to it from Peacefield all the way to Excelsius, um, or Excellus, or I think is how you pronounce it. That I really like. My favorite, like I said, was Lacrima. Satanized, I really love. Uh, Masilla Amori, Marks of the Evil One, and Umbra would be my favorites. Um, I've been listening to those songs since this album came out, and just like on repeat. And anytime that I want some like maybe change in there, I'll throw on one of the other ones. Because like Guiding Lights is a slower one. Peacefield is a really like, even though it's almost kind of sad sounding, it's an uplifting song. It's a good way to start the album. Uh, Cenotaph I like a lot. The Profundus Borealis is kind of different. And then the ending of the album, Excellus. I like that one because it's like a good exit to the album, and I think Peacefield starts it off great, and then that's a good ending. So, yeah, that's how I'd rank these. And then, real quick, I want to talk about the detail on their albums. I love how much detail they put onto the album covers. If I were ranking the album covers, this would be completely different. Um, I really like, actually. my number 6, Opus Eponymous, because it's a nod to one of my favorite vampire movies, Salem's Lot. So that or Prequel would be my favorite album covers. The amount of detail on that, I have the actual CD, and it comes with like a poster in there, and I've sat and just like looked at the amount of detail on that, and it's amazing. There's so many like little small things, um, and the time that that album came out was like I believe right before COVID, and then that song "Rats" and the music video with it just felt like really fitting. So, like I said, I love this band, and I hope they continue on with more of like the style I like. But um, if they went back to this kind of older sound, I don't think I would totally hate it. I'm just more of a preference of these past 4 albums. But yeah, let me know what your ranking is. How did you like the new album? For me, it's from start to finish really good. So I'm really looking forward to seeing this newest tour of theirs when they come to my town, and so I'm pretty happy with it. But yeah, give me your rankings, and I will talk to you guys soon. Thanks for watching.